Well, hey, everybody, I appreciate you stopping by for our town hall this morning. It's great to have you here. I did record the meeting and we're going to be playing it back later. I'll just have a recording of it and then we'll post it on YouTube later. Then I'll share out the link. I also have a couple more of the town halls coming up for people who aren't here on this go around. So we will have those coming up. I do have one scheduled for at night, and then I do have one scheduled for on a Saturday. So our next one is Thursday, October 7th from 7 until 8, and then on Saturday morning, October 9th from 10 until 11, and we may schedule more, but anyway, those are a couple of things that we have coming up. So I want to make sure we keep folks informed, and did learn a few things at the League of Cities this past weekend that we had. So I wanted to make sure that we get people in on that. Every once in a while, you do have some people that do Zoom bombing. So we'll keep an eye on that as well too. If they do that, we'll just block them out and I'll edit that out of the video at the end. So that's where we're at right now. Let's talk a little bit before we get started on how to contact me. And someone says, well, I don't know how to contact them. Well, my goodness, if all else fails, Google me, Pat Palmer Hampton. Here's all my contact information. Of course, you can always phone me, text me. The phone's on all the time. The ringer may not be on because I do like to sleep once in a while, but it's 420-1234, 641-420-1234. I still have a home phone. It does ring into my cell phone. But that is 641-456-4268. I think it's still important to keep that 456 number just to keep it, because some people don't have cell phones or whatnot. So that's kind of where we're at on that. My email address is Yankees, that's Yankee with a Z, at mchsi.com. Facebook is at The Real Patrick Palmer. And of course, you can reach me through my business stuff too at the www.thecomputerguy. So I certainly want to make sure that reaching me is no big deal. So I do know that there's no reason why you couldn't reach me. We need to talk. I've got 4 or 5 issues that I want to talk about, and then we're going to certainly open it up, and hopefully we'll be done by 10 o'clock. If not, we'll run a little long. First of all, that one thing that really is annoying, I know it annoys a lot of people, especially if you live next door to somebody who has this issue, is the nuisances. And we certainly want to do our best in cleaning those up. I was told the other day, someone said the other day, well, you're not doing that much on nuisances. Well, they pop up one after another. Many times, you get one cleaned up and then 3 others pop up. But I do have, as of our last meeting, that was on 10/19/21. That's the last nuisance was issued. We get a report of all the nuisances in town. And we also get a progress report on if they've been cleaned up, if they're still out there or what. 178 nuisances on this report. And that was as of our last city council meeting on the 23rd. And I think that went through actually 19th. So what happens is Doug is more or less responsible for the weeds, grass, snow, that type of thing. I usually get the first grass one of the year. It's always just like a ceremonial thing for me because by the time I line the neighbor kid up and he mows his and he'll mow mine, and naturally he's a younger guy and he needs gas money. I tell him, hey, just hold off a couple times on the first mowing. He'll mow his lawn probably 2 or 3 times before he mows mine, because I wanted the grass to fill in a little bit. I've had some terrible luck growing grass. So anyway, I wanted to fill in, and naturally 1 or 2 weeds gets a little high and then I get a warning. So then that's the time to mow. But that only happens once. we're talking about giving out warnings or tickets more often if we have to keep going back to places. The first time we kind of give a warning, you have so many days to clean it up, and then we can go to court or issue a ticket and go to court. What we want to do is we're wasting a lot of valuable time on stuff like this. We just want to get it open, get it closed, get the lawn mowed. That's the main thing. Get the junk cleaned up. Same difference. Most of these have been abated prior to anything happening. They get, by law, we have to give them so many days, and then we check back with them, and then in so many days, if it's cleaned up, it's cleaned up. So that's, kind of what we do. So we clean up, and then we don't have to give a ticket. If they continue to have problems, then we either do some sort of a ticket or a municipal infraction, and that's where they go. So Doug has told me that with the court system, what they do is not only does Doug have to appear in court, he has to have the person who mowed the lawn appear in court. So sometimes that makes for kind of a hairy decision as well, as far as getting things, guilty verdicts or things like that. Then after they get a ticket, then they have so many days to clean that up before it actually goes in effect. So a lot of rules, a lot of twists and turns, and it's all in our city code. And sometime maybe we'll just have to have a sit down with the chief and sit down with Doug and find out how it all plays out. But to say we're not doing anything on them, there's 178 of them here, and more pop up every day. Now, unfortunately, it always happens when the first snowflake flies. It seems like that's the end of the nuisances, but we'll hopefully keep on it and get through those. That brings me to another issue, is that I would like to see us hire a code enforcement person. I know that we had one in the past. I don't think it worked out all that well, but I would still like to see us have a code enforcement person. I was told, well, it's going to be expensive, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that, and just too much money, and so anyway, we want to certainly enforce this. The police department, I guess to me, is if the police department is going to say, well, do you want us to cite somebody for a nuisance property? Do you want us to go out and remove some of these folks who are pedaling around town with backpacks on and investigate those things, and a lot of theft and some drug stuff and whatnot? So of course we want the police department to do that, and on the side do the code enforcement. So I think Doug's plate is pretty full. I think that he has not only the weeds and the snow and the grass, he also does all the building inspections. And if he was at the Coonley Apartments the other day for several hours, that takes time out of his day. He's got employees to manage in all the departments as well. So I really think a code enforcement person is something that we should at least take a deeper look at right away at first blush. So, well, that's too much money. Well, is it? I mean, you have the quality of our town. You drive into town, and I've driven into towns too that they just look like they could just need a good cleaning. And I want to get us to that point of where we look good. We make a good impression. First impressions in communities are really important as far as businesses go, people moving here and whatnot. So that's kind of my opinion on that. Whether it gets in place or not, that's up to 5 other people as well, and our mayor and city management. One thing I did learn over the last city League of Cities meetings was that a town of Alma, Iowa, decided that they were going to do something about this. And As you may have heard if you watched the last city council meeting or were at the last city council meeting, the mayor said that we've been using the stick too long to discipline people. We need a carrot at the end of the stick to reward people for cleaning things up. This kind of really went into not only the grants for folks who are low to moderate income to fix their homes up, but it also plays well into another area. And let me pull that up on my screen here a second. Let's see. I got this from the city of Alma, and I really wanted to bring it up, and I will bring it up more later, but I really wanted to bring it up on our town hall to make sure that we see what we're talking about here. So let me share the screen. Alma has a plan called Spruce Up Alma, and they have helped over 600 homes in Alma. And Alma is not a very big town, but they've helped over 600 homes spruce themselves up. And here's how it works: you fill out this application, tells the project, estimated costs and estimated costs of labor, and what the goal is not only fix the place up, is to purchase supplies locally and to hire people locally to help you out. They do have a limit of 20 miles around the city of Alma, and that is for not only local labor, but local supplies. So if you needed paint, you could certainly go, and if you're in Hampton, you could certainly go to Dumont Harkin Lumber. You go to Hampton Hardware, you go to our lumber yard. I think even in Iowa Falls, that would be within the 20-mile radius, but we could set that radius no matter what. So I'm just using Alma as an example here. It is limit one application per year. Same way with the local contractor. Like to keep our local contractors in business too and shop local there. So a local painter, local handyman, local whoever, that could help fix the project up. Now here's what they're doing is they have partnered with, it's not only the city of Alma, but they've also partnered with the Bridge organization. And I also found out that they did partner up with a local bank. So they do offer, I think they have in their kitty, I think they have $25,000 in their kitty they start out with. And this is non-income dependent. So income could be anywhere from the top to the bottom, high to low. You don't have to live in the home. If it's for landlords, the landlords could use this as well. I know that there are some landlords out there right now who have suffered a little bit with COVID and some of the rent situations there, and they've probably not put a whole lot into their homes. So this is something that they could even take advantage of as well. In Alma, here's what their deal is. House painting, they reimburse you $500 for a single story house, $1,000 for a two-story house. Here's another good aspect is while a lot of these other programs will not allow you, they don't include a garage since it's not, you don't live in there. Alma includes the garage. I see a lot of nice homes in Hampton that have had new painting or new siding, and then the garage sits there and the garage is a wreck. So that's something as well too we could discuss. They do $2,500 for house siding, $1,000 if you side your garage, and if you remove the house, that's $2,500. You can't imagine the amount of lawyers' bills and legal wrangling and asbestos removal, and sometimes we have to remove the shingles from a house, especially if we want it burned down by the fire department. I think we only do 2 of those a year. If they would just tear their own house down, we would reimburse them for that as well. Right now we have 2 scheduled to be burned pretty soon, so in the northwest part of town, and that's just going to make that area of town a lot nicer by taking away the eyesore. But this is a project that takes so long to get done. The legal stuff, I mean, we have spent, I just talked to Ron the other day about this, So far in the last year, we've spent over $23,000 on nuisance legal fees alone. And that's just money right out the window. I know we're dealing with a couple of major legal issues right now I can't really go into, but we really are throwing money away if we're spending it on lawyers because we never get it back, you might say. So, like I said, this program here, and we could tweak it any way we want to, but it's a good guideline of what could be possible. Again, you get the labor and the materials within 20 miles of your city, and that's such a cool thing because it promotes shopping local and getting work done local. So this is what I certainly am going to be pitching coming up for the next budget year and the next fiscal year. And hopefully we can roll it back to the beginning of 2022 if that's the way it works. So that's just one of the plans I have for helping Hampton really start to look nice. I know on Facebook we sent out letters that your house was blighted. I know one lady was so upset because we said she needed her house painted. I said, look at your foundation. I see your foundation has holes in it. That's the issue. I'm not so worried about your paint job on your house, but your foundation has holes in it where raccoons or other vermin could, climb into your home. I wouldn't want that. So anyway, I think she was looking at the wrong thing. So that's what we're looking for on that. Number 6. Number 7. Let's talk about number 7 for a second as I get back to this. I always live by the motto that you can tell how well a city is doing by the way they treat their deceased. And I really believe that's true in a lot of aspects. I'm on little known fact. I'm a life member of the State Association for the Preservation of Iowa Cemeteries, SAPEC. It was an award I was given, probably 20 years ago. As just a project and a kind of a love of history, I redid the Maysville Cemetery south of Hampton. I reset the stones. I glued things back together, leveled the stones out. And after 20 years, some of them are still tilted again, but we can always fix that. But we're always, cemeteries are going to run out of space sooner or later if we don't do something. And what I'd like to see us do is 2 things. We need to do something with those mausoleums that are there built into the side of the hill as you drive by the cemetery. Those are decaying, those are cracking, holes are starting to appear. We've got some police tape that looks tacky around it. We need to meet with the Friends of the Hampton Cemetery to see if they've come up with any solutions on that. There's nobody buried in the one mausoleum and one person buried in the second one. So what we would do at city expense is rebury that person in the cemetery. And then ideally, I would like to see those 2 mausoleums just taken out, fill in the wall there, or fill in the hill there with dirt, replant it, be a real nice grassy area. Part 2 of that equation is, what do we do about cremains? It makes no sense to dig a hole, put up a tombstone if you're going to bury something that's the size of a Coke bottle or a little bigger. My mom's was probably this tall and it's big around. She had to pay for a full lot for that in Sheffield. I know there are different rates and different things, but anyway, it took up real estate, you might say. So what I know what they're looking at is these called columbariums, and you can have them in different shapes. This is one this is in Ohio, I think. I do know, I think they have them in Mason City at the, I believe they're on the cemetery that goes west of town. These would be owned by the city, not a funeral home. Although a funeral home could build them and own them and have the master key for them. But anyway, it's kind of like what you would see in Hollywood where they buried Marilyn Monroe. You just put in the the cremains in the little boxes here. This one holds a set, so there'd be two, so man and wife could be buried together, or if we had a smaller one, each person could just be buried in one small thing. These plaques here, these granite plaques, would then be engraved just like a tombstone. And I would certainly do this for myself if we had one of these in a town. I do know a lot of other people would buy a slot as well. I think this one holds 300 people. So I'm just thinking how much real estate that would save if we had that. Let me see about another one here. I do know there was another one that I had. Let's share a different one here. This one here. This one's kind of a little bit more basic, and this kind of looks like what it would look like if it was finished. As you can see, there are people engraved. It's engraved here, already done. So you can have them in different shapes. You can have them in different sizes. But again, it's going to be a real estate saver down the road. Luckily, we do own a little land north and east of the cemetery, so we still have room. And then I think quite possibly you could go back through some of the older records and do some infills of some open spots throughout our cemetery as well too. But this is an idea I have. Again, I'd like to meet with the Friends of the Cemetery Board. I do know that they're discussing things like this, and so I kind of really, before the end of the year, would like to see where they're at. So that's our presentation for today. Let me unmute a few folks here. And if you'd like to say something, just speak up or raise your hand or whatever. I've got some people on phones here. I've got somebody on an iPhone as well too. So if you'd like to say something, just unmute yourself and talk or have a question. I do see 0970 is unmuted. If you'd like to ask a question, I'd take one. I do see John in here. John, would you like to unmute and ask a question? I know you're always full of questions. I've had several people ask what we're going to do with our COVID money that we got from the government. I know one thing we're going to do is remodel City Hall. We're going to certainly turn the chambers into more of a Zoom-friendly atmosphere where we have a little bit better sound. Albert Lee has just redone their City Hall to equip it with Zoom functionality and cameras and things like that. I speak up there tomorrow. I'm doing a social media presentation tomorrow, so I'll see more of that. I might take some pictures and talk to the gals up there who were part of that. But I do know that Albert Lee's looks very good. They have a big wall for a screen, and also their city halls is set up a little bit different than the council chambers, but it really looks nice, really Zoom friendly. One detail about Albert Lee, their city does not allow public comment at meetings, and I think that's a shame. But I think that public comment is part of any meeting, especially a public meeting. You've got people who have concerns, and you should have to answer some of those concerns. Otherwise, that's all I have at this time. I do appreciate everybody stopping by. If there's no questions, we'll end our little session here. We'll get on with our days, but I do appreciate everybody coming out. Like I said, my next Zoom meeting, town hall, is coming up on October. Coming up in October, let's just say that. And it's going to be from 7 until 8 at night. And that is going to be Oh, let me get the dates again. I think it's the 7th. I will check here. Yes, it's going to be October 7th, 7 until 8 p.m. And then Saturday, October 9th, 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. I do know that it's very valuable to get input, and I hope to see some more folks there at the next one. And I do appreciate you guys stopping by. So thank you very much. We'll put this up on YouTube and then put it out, and hopefully we can address some of these issues down the road at council meetings. I thank you so much. Take care.